So I'm stuck out of work for a while as I'm dealing with an injury, and I am bored out of my mind. So I've been playing with makeup. I'm trying something new with a bunch of new products. So let's see how it goes. Primer helper. Let me go with help. So we're gonna start with some of the, ooh, I lost the cap. So I'm starting with some of the P. Louise little black eyeshadow primer. All right, because of how I'm doing this, I definitely want to start with my eye base first, and we'll see how well this works. I've never done this before. I've never used this primer before. This is a new look. This is definitely a trust the process look, especially right now. But I just want to see if I can get this primer to kind of like soften and blend out. But I do want to pack this like all the way around my eye. Like, we're getting in there. And then I'm going to bring it down and out underneath. Because I want this to be really dramatic. Right now, before it sets, I'm going to take another clean brush and just try to soften the edges a little. That does not look great, but maybe powders will help. Maybe powders will help. Okay. All right, so not bad for the base. And now we just have to do it again, which we all know is easier said than done. A little high up here, but I think I've got the same kind of smokiness over there, so I'll live with it. I like to check back and forth between both sides a lot to make sure that I'm keeping things very even. And I can see, looks like we're going lower on this side than this side, so I'm going to darken that up some more. I am using more of a tapping motion than a swiping for depositing the black primer. There we go. That matches that shape a bit better. And all of this can be cleaned up and changed when I go do what I'm going to do on top. And you know what? Cousins, not sisters, right? I'm not going for perfection. I just want to look, you know, I'm trying something new. Okay. So I think I've got my eyeshadow base pretty well set. So we're gonna move on to setting it in, just with some black eyeshadow powder. And I'm using one of the Aviation Orveda palettes. It's got my favorite black. And I'm actually gonna use the same brush that I used for my primer. It's from the Made by Mitchell set. At least where I'm setting the inside here. Use this big old brush. And again, I'm just kind of patting it into that primer. When you swipe here, if you were to, you know, try to drag it on, you run the risk of removing that eyeshadow underneath and, you know, getting things all out of place. And we just spent all that time getting it how we wanted it. So we're doing little dabs, little pats. As well as blend out those softened outer edges, because I don't want a hard black transition into my actual skin. I'll see if I can put an inspiration photo for the look I'm trying to do at some point in this video. We are trying something new. If you guys have any advice for me, whether it's about makeup, the application, the products, the video content, how to edit, anything, please help a girl out. I like doing fun things, and I like playing with makeup, and if people like seeing it, I'll keep doing it, but I have no idea what I'm doing. We're just really packing that black on there. That looks kind of scary right now. That's okay. Again, what are we gonna do? We're gonna trust the process. So before I pick up any more black pigment eyeshadow, I'm just gonna buff the edges again with the same fluffy brush I used with the black base on it. Because again, I want a really soft, kind of diffused edge here. I want a nice transition. I don't want it to go straight from black into flesh tone. That's what I'm trying to avoid. And I am wiping my brush off in between, you know, sections, eyes, because I don't want, you know, it's picking up powder as we're doing that blending, and I don't want that to make it spread everywhere and deposit more black instead of just blending what's there. That's the difference. If you don't wipe your brush or you don't switch to a clean brush, you're going to keep putting that pigment back down in places you don't want it. So we're going to wipe off in between. Again, we still have to do our base, so it doesn't have to be perfect, because when we go in with our base layer, our foundation, our, you know, concealer, all that good stuff, we can soften and blend these edges even further. But we want a good starting point. Okay. I think we're about there. I don't see any real shade. Taking my skinny brush right here. This is the one I'm using. It's from a really old Sephora collection. I'm wrapping the tip of it in some toilet paper. And I don't know if this is the best method, because again, never done this before. But I'm gonna wrap that up as tightly as I can. My goal is to get the sharpest point I'm able to, and this might take several rounds, so bear with me. So something like this, it's not pretty, but hopefully it will do what I need it to do. And I'm just gonna dip the tip here into some micellar water. And we're gonna see if this works for me. I don't have any Q-tips. I would have preferred to use Q-tips, but I could not be bothered to leave the house before I started this. And then I'm just gonna drag a line starting at the outside corner of my eye, and I'm not gonna bring it right up to the eyelid. I'm gonna stay away, probably, I don't know, like a fingernail's width. I have no spatial awareness, but everybody has fingernails. So a little bit away. And I'm gonna try to drag out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice and clean. Okay. That is exactly what I wanted. So now for my next line, I'm gonna go to the inside of my eye. Same kind of thing. I'm leaving a little gap. Smaller on this side because there's less ground to cover. Ooh! And this is why this is why we use correct materials. I should have gone with the so let's see if we can't fix that. Oh, wrong brush. Voila. Never happened. Wait a minute. Brought it down too far on my nose. There we go. It's a little wonky, but again, we're doing this for fun and to see how it works. Okay, so now I'm gonna go up and down. You can see what we're doing. We're splitting into quadrants here. And I'm not taking a ton of micellar water. I'm dipping into this little capful I've got, and then I'm patting most of it off onto a rag. Ooh, that one did not come out well. Let's try that again. It actually went a little screwy. Beautiful part of this. We just fix it. Start over. Okay, round two. But okay. I'm gonna tap it on first, because with this part of the face, the way your under eye and your cheek curve, if you try to do a line straight down where the skin is taut, when you look forward, it kind of makes a little lump. Same as like with eyeliner and hooded eyes, you've got to wing the eyeliner a certain way. So I'm trying to hold my face very relaxed and just kind of lightly, no real pressure, drag down there so that I can get it nice and straight before I put the pressure on. Oh, there it is. Beautiful. And then on top. And this one, I'm going to stay above my crease here, just for ease, more than anything else. Going in lightly first to make sure I've got that line set where I want it. All right, and now we're just going to keep bisecting sections, and I'm going to put one there, 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 and there. This particular, see, I'm using the P. Louise eyeshadow primers. This is not the first time I've tried to use them, but I don't find myself reaching for them because I always get horrible creasing when I use it. So for example, you know, look at the creasing there, like all in here. And this is set with powder. If I'm using it wrong, if somebody knows something that I don't, please share, because I want to like this stuff. I've got it in black, yellow, white, and flesh tone, and I would love to be able to actually use the products that I've got. I've heard such good things about them. I just cannot get them to not crease for me. So if this is user error, please let a homegirl know. I do want these lines to be pretty thick because I want this to be a big, you know, it's a drama moment. It takes a couple passes, that's okay. There we go. All right. Can you guess what we're gonna do next? Because if you said the whole thing again, you'd be correct. We're going through. Again, this needs to be drama. Okay. The reason I'm trying to not use a whole ton of micellar water on this brush is because if I do, I run the risk of it running and taking off this black in places I don't want it to, which would be a much larger pain to fix at this point in the process. I didn't say it's not fixable. I said it'd be harder. Gotta remind myself, we are not going for perfect. We are going for a first attempt. Bringing this one up a little closer to that lash line because this one's very close and these are very far, so I'm trying to even that out a little bit. I know with this one, if I push down too hard, it's gonna widen the brush too much and it's gonna kind of stick these two lines to each other. So this one, I'm going into the very light hand with that micellar water, and I'm just going to keep going over it as many times as it takes to get this little line here right in between there, nice and clean. There we go. And again, you see all the smudges right around here. Those are going to go away when we clean up. We are just focused on the eyes right now. This look, not for the faint of heart. All right, we have got one eye done. I'm gonna do the other side off camera and I will come back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, I'm back. Both eyes are done, so we're gonna move on, well, but done for now, you know what I mean. We're gonna move on to our piece and get everything all blended. Real quick, I'm just going to take which brush? Let's use this one. Clean brush with some micellar water, another Made by Mitchell one, and I'm not putting a ton of micellar on there. And I'm just going to brush that away. And again, as I go, I'm kind of wiping my brush here on a rag so that I can make sure to avoid rather dragging that gray all over my face. I'm also going to kind of whip towards my big blend here, because I don't want that gray spreading. I just want to make sure the edges are diffused and that I don't have any of this gray or black in places that I don't want it. Okay, all right, now we're gonna go back to that foundation, my concealer. And I am going to just put a whole bunch of it here on the back of my hand so I can work it into the brush a little bit better. Hopefully I've gotten enough to cover my face this time. Okay. I still like to use patting motions because, again, I'm not trying to swipe this on. I don't want it super sheer. And I want to press it into the pores so it looks less cakey, a little more natural. I already don't like wearing foundation. I typically only do a little bit of concealer and some contour because I like my skin. I did bring that just a tiny little bit up into the edge of that black. So that's blended better. I'm gonna have to play with that. Alright. I am actually even gonna pat it over the edges. Not entirely, just enough to kind of soften it. I did too much. It's okay. It's okay. We can always come back in with black powder. Okay, I think that's pretty close on both sides. I do want to do some concealer as well. I've got an About Face, one of their concealers in 01 Olive. My concealer brush, another Morphe one. This one's got a little angled, almost doe foot, but it just works very well for me. I always get a little redness around my nose, so I do a little extra there. But I don't want a ton of product here, because if you put a ton of product around the lines on your nose, it will sink into them and it will start to look cakey and creasy. I also like to leave a little break on the bridge of my nose, right here. So it just gives more of that like kind of button nose look. So I'm gonna use that same concealer and I'm going to take this teeny little angled brush. This is another really old one that I got at Sephora. It's a Sigma. But I'm going to get some of that same concealer right on the tip, and I'm going to put that in my little lines that we took out with that micellar water. I'm going to take a clean little brush, another Morphe. This is the M383, and I'm just gonna kind of soften that edge. There we go. Just like that. So once again, we're gonna do this on all of these lines on both eyes, and it is going to take a while. It just really cleans that up and makes it look so much more bold. And we're gonna have to be very careful when we set this. Please remember, I am not a professional by any means. I just really like makeup, and I always have. You can see how much brighter those three look than the rest. All right, on we go. And I know it looks crazy. Once again, we trust the process. And this is also where we can kind of redefine the little tips to make sure that they're all kind of at least close to being level as we go around. I do have some funky spots around here that I need to touch up with the black before I move on to my other eye. Ooh, oh, we have an itch. Ooh, scary. Okay, this tiny little angled brush. Hello? There we go. Also from Made by Mitchell. And I'm just going to be taking black eyeshadow. I'm not going to bother touching up the base because, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. Just a little bit of cleanup. All right, and then once again, I'm gonna go off camera and do the other side. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, looking crazy. So I just went ahead and did the concealer of both eyes, and I set it with a tiny little bit of setting powder. I'm gonna use that to set the rest of my face really quick, using another Morphe brush. I'm using the Kimchi Beauty Puff Puff Pass setting powder. So I'm just putting a tiny little bit of everywhere. I'm using Hoola Light, and I am using another really old BH Beauty brush, just an angled, for my bronzer. Not often. We're gonna finish our base, and then we're gonna go through and do some eyeliner and mascara, maybe some lashes, and then I just got some rhinestones, and I've never used light crystals in my makeup before, so I kind of want to try. So this is just going to warm things. Does that look great to you? Whatever. This is going to warm things back up to our natural skin tone. At least a little bit. Don't need a whole lot of contour on my nose since I've got this lovely shadow going on. And then I always put just a little bit underneath my nose and under my bottom lip there. Whatever's left to help define the jaw. Alright, so for blush, I am using MAC. This is the powder blush in the shade Raisin. I don't know if you can, hello, focus. Raisin by MAC for our blush today. I usually keep my blush up around my temples. I don't know why. And then I bring it down into my contour a little bit. You know, I'm not loving this look with the blush. I might skip it next time. I feel like it's kind of taken away from our nice little streaks there. But that just means we have something to change for round 2. And I usually take whatever's left on my brush and put it on that little gap of my nose, and then a little underneath. And then I've always thought it's super cute to put some on your chin, so that's usually where I put whatever I've got left. Now we set. I'm using the Skindinavia setting spray because they're perfect. Oh, see, look how badly my eyelid is creasing. I know you can see that. I used the black primer. Do I just have oily lids? How do I work around this? I know there's a makeup girly out there that has some advice. Please give it to me. Moving on. So I'm gonna tight line and hit my water lines with Dark Side by Anastasia. It's the waterproof gel liner. I've gotten the best staying power. Oh my gosh, I've gotten the best staying power out of this. Normally I do some big winged eyeliner, but I don't think this look really calls for that. So we're not gonna do that. I am gonna throw on a little bit of mascara before I put some lashes on. I'm using the Grand Drama Lash. My eyelashes are super short and stubby and blonde, so anything that can help them grow, I'm invested. I'm interested. And then I learned this trick kind of recently, is that if you struggle with getting things to match, especially when it pertains to your eyes, start on your non-dominant side. And the other trick that I learned, that I also do, I gotta keep a tight squeeze on this, is I put a tiny little bit of lash glue on my actual eyelid. That way it really has something to stick to. I'm trying to avoid putting it on my lashes. I just want to get it on the lid. And I'm just realizing I should have done that shimmer before I did this, but it's okay. You live and you learn. This is all for fun anyway. Got just the tiniest little amount. I don't even think you can see it on there, but you will see it once it's on my lid. Holy sh! I actually can't believe that I haven't been using this. I have not used this in a single makeup look because I found that it's just so hard to contain, but holy gorgeous. I can't believe how red it looks on here. I'm gonna brush it up into my little black lines a little bit. I'm gonna try to keep it off of the flesh tone, but oh my god. Oh my god, that's so pretty. I'm gonna put it underneath too. I wasn't planning on this, but this shimmer is now the focal point of this whole look. Like, look at that. Look at it. Let's keep adding it into the black. Just wow. All right, other eye. And I've actually hid the creasing quite nicely. Now next time I do this for like an actual outing, I will likely use a smaller brush for this so I can really make sure that I keep it off of the flesh tone parts. But for what we're doing today, which is just makeup to have some fun, this is fine. Okay. Like, so that's Monster I just put on by Unearthly Cosmetics. Just put down a little bit of that same black primer on the back of my hand. Look, that'd be the, oh my god, the duochrome. They both go green. I don't know if it's picking that up, but like, this one is Monster, this one is Pixie. So Monster has a really cool shift from like red to orange to yellow to green. It is all over the place. Look at that fucking fire flash. And then Pixie down here also has like a greeny yellow to like Barbie pink flash. I don't know if it's really picking it up over there. I swatched in possibly the worst spot, but yeah, these are really cool. I have an idea. Bear with me. So I've got a NYX black, it's an eyeliner, but I'm gonna use it as a liner, don't tell anybody. And I'm just gonna line my lips with black. Oh, it's KVD. It's KVD Beauty. I don't know if this is a new one or an old one because I'm not familiar with the shape. I'm going to assume it's newer. But I've had some KVD Beauty for quite a while. This is a metallic red. I'm just going to put it all over that liner that we just put down. And I'm putting this on top of the lip liner as well to get them to blend together a little bit. I'm just gonna take the brush I used with Pixie, or with Monster, and if there's anything left, I'm just gonna get a little bit of that going on. I'm gonna start just by dotting with lash glue where I want to put my gemstones, and like I said, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna do my left side first. Good news about this is they don't really have to match. I almost prefer when stuff like this is like random. Yeah. Okay, hopefully you can still see. And this is the finished look. I'm gonna turn the light down so you can kind of see it in closer to low light settings. If you want to see me do more crazy looks like this, let me know. If you have any advice for me, please send it my way, and I will see you next time.